Hey everyone, welcome back to my continuing mini-series here. Actually, not just a continuation of, but the conclusion of Best in Theme. I'm going to be talking about my two favorite themes in board games and talking about games that I feel like do a great job of showcasing those. So this is based on the top 10 list I did with the A-Team, top 10 favorite themes in games. And so you can watch that for more of an explanation about each theme, but I'm going to be talking about the games here. So my number two favorite theme is theme parks, and my number one will be fun factories. So theme parks here is a theme that I think is we've been seeing more games doing this lately, and I'm okay with that. Bring it on. There's a couple of notable ones I'm sure that I haven't played, and I'm sure people in the comments will mention this. Probably have about every single theme up to this point. Oh, you need to try this one. Oh, you haven't played this one and stuff, right? But I've played a lot of great theme park games. There's a few in here that I particularly really love. Some more than other people, so let's just go ahead and jump right into that. Starting off, kicking off this list with, I think, one of the most thematic of the theme park games that I've played, Wishland. Wishland it's really gorgeous. I think part of what brings this theme out for me is going to simply be just how great it looks. It's a fun worker placement game, and I really like that. But you collect all these different cards, and you make a really great-looking display in front of you. And the things that you're able to accomplish feel, everything looks like a midway ticket. Everything is bright and colorful and happy. And the image won't load, but that's fine. I just really like this one. It's such a joy to look at, and it gives me those feels. I think that's the thing, is maybe more than any other game, it gives me that feeling of that childlike wonder of going to a theme park and just loving the whole experience and being sad to leave, So Wishland is up there. Next up is Funfair. I was not a fan of Unfair because I thought the game was unfair. I didn't like the take that and stuff going on in it. I think that was very clever and smart in a lot of ways, but then also some of it was just annoying. But Funfair does away with that. It does away with the event phase and some of the meaner stuff that you can do, and is now just a really great engine building game. Cards are a resource in your hand. You have a very limited number, to it, but the stuff that you can build up is so cool. I really like it. I like the idea of being able to take these cards here from the market. You can take them into hand for an action and then pay for it later, or you can just build it outright, which I think is a great touch. You can upgrade your rides a lot, and so it's cool to have one ride with like a bunch of different upgrades, and you score more and more points for the more upgrades you have. But if you upgrade lots of different things, there's different bonuses there. I think this game is just really fun, charming. It's all the best stuff from Unfair, in my opinion, in a smaller box. I do miss, right, in Unfair there's the different themes you could mix together to create your deck. You can see I rated Unfair a 4. I really hated it. But you could create different combinations of things. You could have Viking pirate theme park, right? And the main deck of cards consisted of different types of themes within this theme, which is what makes theme parks a great theme in games, I think, right? But I really liked Funfair. Moving along, the Grand Carnival. This is one I finally played recently. I really like it. Ryan Goldsberry is one of my favorite board game artists as well. I think that he made this game look incredibly charming. I just love that cover. It's so happy. It almost has that skeezy, like, come see what's inside the Cave of Wonders, kid, kind of a thing. But what am I looking for? Pictures. But wow, this is a fun tile laying game where you're laying these tiles out here. At the start of the game, your entire map is barren. There's no green on it. And so it looks like this. It just has hammers. And so you need to actually get tiles that has greenery and building paths. And then you can build the attractions on the building areas. But your greenery is where you're going to be moving your patrons, your guests through. So it really does have a lot of those aspects that other theme park games don't. I like it a lot. It's tough, it's tight, but it's really joyous. Moving along, Meeple Land. This is a game I like, I think, more than most people. This is a blue-orange, great production. It's very simple. Very, very simple little engine builder type thing. But I like it a lot. I like the fact that as you're building up your park, you're looking at the roadways. You have to kind of Carcassonne, connect roads and stuff. You can have a road dead end, but it'll cost you points at the end of the game. The different tiles are going to have slots for your guests to come to. It can be a little bit tight because if you don't get the right buses of guests coming, there's pink and yellow and blue and green guests. If you don't get the right buses, you might not get as many people in your park, which is income and then eventually points. But then it leads to this really interesting turn order thing where it's coming back to your turn. I could build 1 or 2 more attractions, or I could pass now and just grab the bus that I need with the people on it. I like that dynamic a lot. But yeah, one to look out for if you've not played it. Unfortunately, it comes in, I think, too big of a box, and maybe that's for as light of a game as it is. 10 Penny Parks is one I played more recently. I like this one. I don't love it. I think, every aspect about it, but I don't love any particular aspect more than other theme park games. But it's really good. The Vincent Dutrait art is gorgeous. I think it looks a little busy, a little bit hard to differentiate and tell the symbols at times, but good worker placement game, has just a lot of charm to it, really fun. Next up, Barron Park. This is more of a zoo game, but zoos are kind of theme parks. I'm going to use that line here in a second, even more so. This rating of an 8, I think that's an older rating. This game has kind of gone up for me. Barron Park is my favorite polyomino game. I think it's just the best. It's a race for lots of different, for a lot of different things, and you're trying to combine that all into a puzzly type of a game. You can build up your park in a very satisfying way. I really like this one. I like the bear theme, Bear Park, a lot too. Hey, remember how I said that zoos count as theme parks? How about Kung Fu Zoo? Kung Fu Zoo is probably the most ridiculous game that I have listed here. The whole game is just a box, basically. And there's holes in the corners, and you are flicking from the sides, you're flicking dice out, trying to knock your opponent's dice down those holes, basically. It's a mix between Strike and Crokinole and billiards, and it's a really great little game. I don't think it caught on terribly much, right? I don't hear people talk about it much. It became a game called WWE Cage Battle, which I've not tried. I wouldn't mind trying it because the wrestling theme doesn't do as much for me. Are there even any images of this game? Did it even come out? I don't know. Anyway, Kung Fu Zoo, though, is fantastic. Cute animal dice and everything like that. And I like the fact that you can sink other people's dice down. You can actually get pretty good at this game. Okay. Anyway, there you go. That is my number 2 favorite theme, which was theme parks. There's so much good that you can have in theme parks. And there's it lends itself, I think, to mechanisms that I enjoy a lot, which is also why I think I enjoy my number 1 theme a lot, which is fun factories. Factories are very mechanical in a lot of ways. They usually have some sort of like sequencing or programming-ish kind of a thing going on to it. So I like that mechanically, but also like the idea that it's not just dry and boring. I had Industrial Revolution earlier on my themes, but fun factories allow you to do things that are just, just sillier, just lighter, just more enjoyable. And so let's go ahead and look at what ones I chose for that to kind of exemplify this theme. So first off, Chocolate Factory. This is the funnest factory I can imagine possible, right? I talked about Chocolate Factory already in my foods item, which was number 8, right, on my list. Chocolate Factory is just a great game where you are running chocolate through a conveyor belt. It has a conveyance mechanism in the game where you push pieces through on these little blocks. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Just so much, right? But it's fun stuff you're making. You're not just making gizmos and widgets and what? Oh, gizmos. I need to put gizmos on here. So anyway, Chocolate Factory is one of the most fun factories that you could possibly imagine. Now, Automania, you're making cars, right? Well, not as fun, but it is very cartoony. It has a lot of levity. It's a more jovial approach to this idea of manufacturing and factory than the game like Kanban or automobiles or Kraftwagen, right? This is one that I enjoy a lot. It's not a game I love, but I enjoy a lot, and part of it is the joyful aesthetic and the happy kind of feel you get once again, has conveyor belts that you move cars along, and so your cheap to manufacture cars moves along a quick conveyor belt. Your more expensive to manufacture cars, your high-end ones, move along more conveyor belt spaces so you can get more upgrades on them. I think that's a great touch. I really like it. So, while we're here, let's move on to Gizmos! Clearly I didn't have this one prepared already, but Gizmos, this is less of a factory game, but you're making fun widgets and gizmos and doodads and stuff. You collect marbles. Marbles are your resources that you're spending, and this is just the quintessential engine building game, I think. I think this boils it down to its purest elements and allows you to have just ridiculous and awesome combos. It's a little bit less of the factory side of things, which is probably why I didn't think of it, right? And it should maybe be a little bit later. But anyway, Gizmos, fantastic. Hey, how about Fantastic Factories? This is a cool little game, kind of a dice allocation type thing, and you are trying to build up a display of factories that allow you to use your dice in a way that you get ahead of other people. I like it. Super simple, right? Charming artwork, good look to it. Overall, it's just Fantastic Factories is very fun. It feels less manufacturing and more like kind of city buildy type thing, but I think it works very well. Curious Cargo is the sequel to Pipeline by Ryan Courtney. I don't have very many people to play this with because most of the people I know don't really enjoy this game. It's very heady. It's very, very heady. But you are laying these tiles out and trying to create these pipeline connections. And you have to load up trucks on your left side. And once trucks are loaded up, they move forward and they go to the right side of your opponent's player board. So you have to play this you kind of have to play it facing each other, because as my trucks leave, your pipelines could possibly steal mine, which is weird. It's not as annoying or as obnoxious as it sounds, because I've already sent my goods along the way. I've earned my points by sending goods out. But if you can take goods from the other players' trucks as they leave, it's a lot of points. I find this one fun. A lot of people find this to be a complete migraine of a headache and don't have fun with it, so take my words with a grain or two of salt. Let's move on to Cacao. This is by far the biggest stretch in terms of the factory thing. This is a fantastic Phil Walker Harding tile laying game where you are placing these tiles out into kind of a checkerboard pattern, right? Because there's tiles that have meeples printed on them, and they will take the actions of the spot. As you lay those out, those are your player pieces, you lay them onto a place like this one here lets you harvest cacao, raw cocoa, and then you can place out worker tiles later onto places that will actually refine it for you, and you can make, you can sell those cocoa bits out. With some of the expansions, you can refine them into chocolate bars and whatnot. So I think that it's a stretch, but I mostly wanted to talk about this really underappreciated, fantastic tile laying game that I enjoy so much. So Cacao, this is a game that, I like it. I've liked it for a long time. And lastly, let's talk about Mintworks. Mintworks is the Mint tin game. It comes in a box this big, right? It's fun. It's got that minimalist art style to it. It uses minimal pieces. It's small footprints and everything. And it has that's the fun theme of it a little bit, right? Is it mostly just kind of a game about building factories and stuff and allocating your mints onto it? Yes. Is it a game that you could apparently play solo on an airplane tray? I guess so. But it leads less into the fun side of things, but it is a fun game and inherently cute because of the size of it and all. So that's Mintworks. That's there you go. That ends my Fun Factories segment. So I hope that this was a fun journey through some of my favorite themes, through some of the games that I really like in those themes, as well as games that, like I said, I feel like are great examples. If you know people who are more thematically driven and they like these themes, these games might be things that you could pull out and kind of get them excited about it. And I would say that all of these games I enjoyed, at least and at most, these are some of my favorite games of all time. So there you go. Hope that was fun. Thanks for joining and sharing in this journey with me. Thanks for sticking all the way here through the end. Or if you skip some in the middle, shame on you. Just kidding. You can watch what you want to. You can leave your friends behind. I'm going to end this before it gets really out of hand. So thank you so much for coming by. Thank Thanks for coming by the Dice Tower. My name's Chris Yee. Have a great one.